Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Prajwal, your producer and audio engineer from RaagSpire. There's a free plugin called Headphone Lab from Beyerdynamics, which is buzzing in the industry right now, all because of its useful feature. That is, it flattens the frequency response of your Beyerdynamics headphones. It is available on almost all of the models available right now, and you can choose it in the app itself. So let's get into it and test it out, what it does and how helpful it is going to be. It is going to be very useful for the producers who mostly work on headphones instead of speakers, as it is going to flatten the frequency response of your headphone. You will definitely notice some major differences in your judgments, and it will help you make your judgments right in the mixing and mastering. So let's get into it and let's test it out, what it does to your sound and how it's doing it. So guys, we are in the FL Studio right now, and I have already loaded the Headphone Lab plugin in the master rack. So the first thing you want to do is add this plugin to the last slot of your master plugin rack. Now if you add any plugin or effect after the Headphone Lab in the rack, so there the calibration won't work for the effect you have added. So let's open it. So there you go, the UI looks pretty cool. So here we have got Headphone Lab logo, bypass option, Beyerdynamics branding here. We have got two options here: headphone calibration, loudspeaker emulation. You can add your headphone model from here. I have already added my headphone, which is DT990 Pro. Here we have a safe mode switch, and in the corner the room setting. Here we have a setting knob and a view knob. Alright, let's start with the headphone calibration option here. For the reference, I have added a track from one of our latest projects. So let's hear it first without the calibration on. Here you go, bypass option. So now we will turn off the bypass and enable the plugin here. So now I'll be switching the bypass option on and off so you can check the calibration is working or not. Alright guys, so now what I'm noticing is that my Beyerdynamics headphone 990 DT Pro has a little boost on the high end and a dip on the sub bass frequency, as you can see on the graph here. So after I switch on the calibration mode on, it is flattening the frequency response of my headphones, and I'm hearing some warmth and some reduced high end on the track. So now I have added the DT770 Pro 32 ohm just for the reference, and you can see the graph of 770 DT Pro is quite different from the 990 DT Pro. So beside the headphone calibration mode, we see a second option here which says loudspeaker emulation, which will add a emulation of loudspeakers in your headphones to see how the track will sound on monitor speakers. It has the option for switching from different angles. So let's test it. So enabling the headphone calibration and loudspeaker emulation. You can see there's a loudspeaker angle here. You can switch between the angles you want your monitors to be to take multiple references. There's a 40-degree angle, 60-degree angle and 80-degree angle. So 80-degree angle gives you a much wider reference as compared to the 40-degree, which is much closer, and the 60-degree comes in the middle of both of them. So let's hear it now. Alright, so now I'll be switching on and off the loudspeaker emulation option here. it's like the audio isn't coming from my headphones, it's coming from the front side. So let's try changing the angles of the monitor speakers here. Alright guys, so another option here is a room knob, which adds a room ambience to your loudspeaker emulation by switching to dry and wet. So let's hear that too. So it will be helpful to listen on multiple reference points when you want your track to sound good in most possible situations and places, like bigger studios, medium studios, and smaller studios. So it's good for listening your track from multiple perspectives. So another option you see is safe mode, which normally does is reduce the gain of your project so it doesn't clip after you enable the calibration on the plugin. So that's why it's called a safe mode, so it doesn't peaks if you have a much higher gain setting on your interface. So let's try that too. As you have listened, safe mode is obviously reducing the gain of your project in order to prevent the clips and peaking. So the last two options is switch between full and compact window. So what it does is change the size of your plugin, make it handy. You can keep the plugin in the corner of your screen. The view is so compact, so you can switch between headphone calibration, loudspeaker emulation, and the bypass option here. So the last option here is the settings knob. So we get these ITD settings, so you can change the head circumference and the ear distance, set it from here. So what you can do is measure the circumference of your head and the distance between your ears by some measuring tools. You can go check out the help page which will show you how to do it in a correct manner. So when you go to the help option here, this window will appear and you can go search for the ITD settings. And here you will find how to measure the head circumference and the ear distance. So for now I have my settings set to the default. If I needed to, I will do it laterwards. You can change the size of the window here according to your monitor size, and also you can switch to the show tooltips, which will guide you throughout the plugin. You can check for updates if there are any new updates here. So also another thing about setting your headphone in the plugin is you can add the serial number of your specific headphone model, which will allow your headphone to give the frequency response in a very accurate manner. As these headphones are manually factory calibrated, you will hear a much accurate response from these headphones as compared to the older models. So the serial number option starts from the DT700 Pro X series. It is available for 7 headphone models here. So you can add the serial number and have the most accurate frequency response from your headphones. So the red sign you are seeing here is nothing but the peaks coming from your studio monitors. So any of your left and right channel is about to peak or peaking, it will show the red sign here. And these yellow lines are nothing but the positions of your monitor speakers, and if we switch between these angles, it will change accordingly. So that was most of it. I think this plugin is going to help you a lot in judging your mixes right in the mastering process. If you work most of the time only on headphones, this is going to be a real game changer for you guys. And as you can see, this plugin is available for almost all the models, also for the DT270 Pro, which is the entry-level headphone of Beyerdynamic. So that's a real good thing for beginner producers as well. So that's it guys, hope this video was helpful to you, and let this plugin help you in your mixing and mastering. Test it out first and see if it really works for you, and if you are working on the headphones most of the time, it is really going to be a game changer for you. See you in the next video. This was your guy Prajwal from RaagSpire.